You may have heard that John Roberts, Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, got into a verbal tussle with President Trump after Trump criticized a Obama judge who ruled against one of Trump's super racist immigration policies. Roberts pushed back in a strong and rare statement defending the independence of the judiciary. Now, our knee-jerk reaction as progressives is to celebrate anyone who stands up to Trump, but this is actually total bullshit. Roberts himself knows this because he and the rest of his conservative cronies on the Supreme Court were handpicked by Republican presidents, with help from crazy right-wing interest groups like the Federalist Society, to serve not as independent judges, but as reliable conservatives who will gut row, give corporations more rights than people, and make it more difficult for people of color to vote. Roberts has done all of these things, so let's be careful not to pat him on the back too much for doing the bare minimum. Roberts has enthusiastically pulled the courts further to the right, just as the very spooky Federalist Society hoped that he would. This is a guy who struck down the Voting Rights Act a few years ago and said that the law was no longer needed because nearly 50 years later, things have changed dramatically in the South. But within 24 hours of that decision coming down, southern states immediately started enacting voter suppression laws. Take our pal Stacey Abrams, for example, who very narrowly lost the Georgia governor's race after her opponent, Brian Kemp, kicked hundreds of thousands of black voters off the rolls and engaged in other super shady suppressive tactics to make sure that he won. And even before Roberts got into it with Trump, a lot of liberals wrongly assumed that he was reasonable and independent because he upheld Obamacare. But it's important to know that Roberts didn't so much uphold Obamacare as he completely rewrote it. Roberts even made the Medicaid expansion optional for the states, which means a bunch of states with Republican governors and legislatures didn't expand Medicaid, and millions of otherwise eligible Americans stayed uninsured. This is a huge, huge problem that states are still dealing with today. And Roberts also upheld Obamacare in a weird way that makes it a lot easier for conservative judges to strike down future progressive legislation like Medicare for all and minimum wage increases. So before you log on to praise John Roberts as our next resistance hero, don't. He is not your friend. He's a Bush judge.